Force, a podcast that takes an in-depth look at what it's like to be a fan of the best franchise in the history of sports. Today we revel in our embarrassment of pigskin riches in yet another episode entitled Tired of Winning? On location in Cleveland from yet another Super Bowl victory parade, I'm your co-host Keith, and with me as always is my partner Greg.
Is this fun or what?
This is amazing. On today's show, we hope to get a post-parade interview with NFL MVP Joe Thomas.
Ooh.
And talk with reclusive owner Dr. Emmett Brown, who just drove past us, hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, his 10th.
11th? That's 11!
Is that 11? I've lost track. But first, let's look back on our latest Super Bowl thrashing of an NFC sacrificial lamb. Greg, who do we put on the altar this year? I'm losing track.
I remember Green. It must have been those Eagles.
Oh, right you are, partner. The Browns won this one handily 56-24. How would you stack this one up against the rest of them?
I know we've had more dominating Super Bowl wins, and of course our defense isn't what it used to be. Let's not kid ourselves out there.
Right.
But I feel like it could have played a Mozart concerto behind the offense that we put on that field.
I hear you, brother. Agreed. It was beautiful to watch. So what do you say we analyze this game by playing a game of perfect, almost perfect. Perfect! Oh, that's almost perfect. Winning the Super Bowl again is almost perfect. This 16-0 season is perfect!
Oh, I never get tired of that. Hey, let's start as we always do with old Tom Terrific. What do you think? Perfect or almost perfect?
Well, I'm gonna say he was 28 for 32 for 410 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think his quarterback rating would say perfect!
Bing, bing! Right there you are, my friend. Tom Brady was, as usual, his perfect self. It's incredible to watch the way he just dissects defenses. Isn't it just wonderful feeling having him on your team every week?
It just feels like you're guaranteed to win, no matter what happens.
It doesn't matter. Oh boy, let's move on to the next one here. We got the receivers, so that would be Antonio Brown, Brandon Cook, and Rob Gronkowski. What do you say there? Perfect, almost perfect.
Well, normally I would say perfect, but Brandon Cooks dropped a touchdown in the third quarter that would have made us win by all those extra touchdowns.
Oh, you are so right. You are so right. Almost.
So I'm going to say almost perfect.
Pretty darn good, just not quite it. We've had some good receivers on this squad over the years. But for you, how does Brown, Antonio Brown, the former 5th rounder, out there for every team in the league to select, only the Browns brain trust, that Ozzie Newsome brain trust, went out there and got him. How does he measure up to some of the elites we've seen over the years, such as Randy Moss?
Well, I think that you're going to see Brown as a Cleveland Brown in the NFL Hall of Fame, not too far in the distant future.
No, not far away at all the way he's going.
There's a backlog of receivers waiting to get into the Hall of Fame, but he's going to cut in line, Greg. I promise you that much. With this many Super Bowl rings, how could you not?
Who from this team isn't going to make the Super Bowl? Goodness.
Good question.
Oh boy. Well, let's hit up the running game with Le'Veon Bell. What did you think there? Perfect, almost perfect.
Well, you know what? He had a great game. I think he averaged 10 yards, 17 carries for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. But I'm going to say almost perfect.
Ooh,
because
that's tough.
Tom Brady took the focus off of him by throwing for 4 bills and 5 touches.
Oh, I can't argue with you there, partner, but boy, is it fun to watch Le'Veon Bell tear through those defenses, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, a tip of the cap once again to Ozzie Newsome. He seems to find these gems, these diamonds in the rough. And this is the place in the draft where teams like those Pittsburgh Steelers, they keep selecting wide receivers.
I can't hear that name without laughing. I just crack up every time.
They're a complete mess. This is the place in the draft where teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers keep drafting wide receivers who can't catch and fast defenders who can't tackle. Hashtag Bartkevius Mingo. Am I right?
Whoops. Oh, come on. I think it's still too soon for some of those Steelers fans out there. Oh, boy. That's good stuff. Well, how about the offensive line? What do we want to say there? There were 3 pressures and 1 sack. I know technically not perfect, but what do you say here?
I think we're going to have to say almost perfect on this one. When Joe Thomas was signing an autograph for a Philadelphia Eagles defensive lineman in the 4th quarter during a play.
I saw that.
During a play, that's when you can say, he played perfectly, but the offensive line as a whole allowed a sack almost perfect.
You know, I can't remember the last time we said Joe Thomas wasn't perfect, but you're absolutely right. You know, the miracle of this team, of the many, but the one that doesn't get enough attention is the job that Dante Scarinecchia does every single year to get this group of nobodies and never was and never thought they were going to be into a top flight starting unit to guard the precious and perhaps immortal. We don't know yet.
I think he might be. I think Tom Brady might be immortal. Thank God he ended up a Cleveland Brown.
Oh, can you imagine if he hadn't? Think about all the teams that passed up on him. Oh, my God.
I think it's a really good thing Bill Belichick believed in him.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and thank God Bill's still here, right?
Seriously, he could have had plenty of opportunities to be hired away to different teams.
Oh, but he's been so loyal to the Cleveland Browns.
Steadfastly a Cleveland Brown for life.
Oh, and I'm just so grateful.
But
so grateful.
I'm going to go ahead and give Dante, though, a perfect for assembling this offensive line. But let's move on to the next category.
Right. So we've talked about the offense, and my goodness, what do you say about the defense?
Well, the defense is almost perfect.
Wow.
They actually allowed some extra points and yardage in garbage time. Otherwise, they would have only scored 12 points.
Come on, Keith. That's not fair. I mean, you look at the halftime, they'd only given up about 6 points. 6 points is not a lot there. Why are you so hard on me?
Well, that's true, but look, Greg, I say if the clock is running, you should be out there stopping those guys. These scores get recorded for history. They're going to be written in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, they're going to be in countless documentaries that we're going to see on ESPN. They have another one coming out next week. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it, but this score is going to be written down forever. Wouldn't you rather it were a 0? Almost perfect.
Well, you make a fair point there. And I have to say, I can't help but miss the old days with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and Richard Seymour and Willie McGinnis out there. It felt like that team just never gave up any points, ever.
Now, that defense was perfect. That defense had 5 Hall of Famers on it, Greg.
It did, and this one does not. But they do get the job done. And that's, I think, all thanks to Mr. Belichick.
Absolutely. What's our next category?
Oh, one of your favorites every week. You love to talk about them. The special teams. Tell me what you thought.
The special teams this week were perfect, Greg.
Whoa! A rare perfect for Keith.
Dion Lewis, he's no Josh Cribbs, because Josh Cribbs is immortal. Josh Cribbs eats a bowl of nails for breakfast every morning.
So true.
But Dion Lewis got the job done today when he needed to, Greg, and I'm going to give him a perfect. No turnovers, he didn't fumble, a lot of great returns, dynamic. He helped us win the field position battle, and of course, no missed kicks.
Well, as we all know, ever since Coach Belichick did away with the field goal kicking and the extra points and the punters, I tell you, if you've got the horses, why not let them run?
It's just wasted roster spots. Kickers are wasted roster spots, to quote Coach Bill.
Oh, and boy, have we been enjoying the fruits of that very, very wise decision.
Like, I hope the Steelers enjoy long snapper Ryan Pontbriand
Yeah, it feels like they have like the Pro Bowl punter every year, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel that way?
It feels like the punter or the field goal kicker is always eligible for MVP on that steel curtain in quotes team.
Oh boy. Fun stuff. You know, you mentioned Josh Cribbs,
Yeah.
and I got a little tear in my eye just as you said it. He's just one of the all-time great Browns. Nay, one of the great all-time football players. I mean, that's just a football player.
He can hold up his right hand, and every finger has a Super Bowl ring on it, Greg.
And probably crooked from all the hits he's taken.
And one of those, though, is for his Super Bowl MVP performance back in 2009. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, who could forget it? That was the reason. That season, Tom Brady, of course, was still recovering from injury. And who can forget Josh's 2,500 all-purpose yards during the regular season and his record postseason 4 kick returns? Oh,
there was a magical postseason. It was like he just picked the team up and carried it into the end zone himself. And that's a Kent State University, a graduate right there, Greg. Kent State, Golden Flashes.
Oh, local boy. Gotta love that. You know, but in all fairness, that Super Bowl wasn't all Crips, as we both know all too well.
Of course not. I mean, we had a lot of help getting that ring that year. Who do you think was the second most important player on that team?
Well, of course. Who else but our very own Phil the Toe Dawson, who recorded... He had a record 8 field goals of 50 yards or more in that magical postseason run. Never seen anything like it in the history of NFL, nay, in sports.
It felt like our destiny to win that Super Bowl that year.
Doesn't it feel that way every year a little bit? Just a little bit.
Well, that's why we are a dynasty force, Greg.
Oh, unstoppable dynasty force. You know, that 2019, it may not have been our best, but it always holds a special place in my heart. I don't know about you.
It's probably my favorite Browns team, even if it isn't the best.
Oh, and well said.
I think a lot of people around Cleveland feel the same way. It's a sentimental favorite because we weren't supposed to win it, but we said, screw it, it's our year again anyway.
That's right.
Suck it, Pittsburgh.
Oh, as always. So, how about the coaching? I think I know where you're going to land on this one.
Well, I mean, we're talking about Bill Belichick. He's won us double-digit Super Bowls now. Every single decision he has ever made, perfect.
How much did he pay you for that one?
His decision in 1995 to move Bernie Kosar from quarterback to player coach was among the most brilliant I've ever seen.
Oh, that was a good one. Oh, can you imagine? You know, think back to 1995 when he was, things were not looking quite as bright as they do today. Let's not kid ourselves.
Right.
I mean, you had Art Modell, a bit of a mess at that point. Thinking about moving the team to another city. There was talk of Jacksonville or Los Angeles. I think I even heard something about, wasn't it Baltimore?
I think so. I mean, I don't know why someone would want to go to the crab capital of the world. That's not a place to have a football team.
It's not a place to have anything.
I mean, unless you're into heroin.
Right. Well, sure. You have to hand it to our owner, Dr. Emmett Brown, we mentioned before, and who we're going to be talking to later. I can't wait for that. He's so, it's not easy to get his time. He's a very busy man, obviously.
Yes, and of course, a renowned research scientist as well.
Yeah, it's an unusual combination to be sure. What he has always said, though, is you hire the right people for the job and you let them do their job. Am I right?
Well, and that is why we have the most continuity of any front office in NFL history.
You see other teams just cycling through,
just spinning their wheels like every year or every 13 games. They're changing owner, they're changing general managers, they're changing quarterbacks 30 times. It's crazy.
Well, the Browns have decided, let's try something different. Let's be the same. I think the results speak for themselves. We have the championships from 2000, 2001, 2003, 2004, 2007, 2009, 2010.
Oh, stop. You're bragging now.
I don't want to stop. 2012, 2014, 16, and now with this victory over the Eagles, 2017 as well. 11 championships.
And 5 of them have been against teams named after birds. Isn't that crazy?
Sure.
But anyway, as you pointed out, life as a Browns fan, perfect.
Well,
And that's how we play. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, that's almost perfect. Winning the Super Bowl again is almost perfect. This 16-0 season is perfect.
Oh boy, that's fun. Well, wait a minute. I'm standing up, and I think I see. Do I see him?
I think you do, yeah. Well, listen, folks. He's making his way through the crowd right now to the broadcast booth. I wish everyone could see this. He's a behemoth of a man. His mighty hands are literally covered in Super Bowl rings, Greg.
He's got a toe ring. No, he wasn't with us for all of them, of course.
We are so honored to have with us, and come on and sit down right here. Thank you. We're so honored to have with us legendary left tackle, reigning NFL MVP.
And the first MVP to be an offensive lineman, I'd like to point out.
Of course. 25,000 career snaps in a row. And a 5-time Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Is that all? Just 5?
As a humanitarian. Well, after his 5th one, he took himself out of contention.
That's fair.
He's
That's
that
fair.
kind of humanitarian.
He's just that humble.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Joseph Hayden Thomas.
We speak your names. We speak your names.
Joe, it's so great to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thanks you for having me on here.
Joe, you came to the team as it was transitioning from one built on dominating defense to record-setting offense. At this point, you've climbed this mountain so many times, starting your rookie year when you beat the Giants in that classic game where the ball bounced off David Tyree's helmet. There are new challenges every year, of course, changes to the roster, new and upcoming teams, and the long season. So, Joe, how does the team, and maybe how do you specifically, stay motivated every year to take the league on?
And I guess maybe it's the eternal optimist in me, but I start every Cleveland Browns season thinking, we got a pretty good chance. Like, this really could be our year. And to me, if I want to win a Super Bowl, I want to be a major part of the team that was built from the ground up, and I was a big piece of that puzzle. I was a big building block of that championship.
Well, you've certainly done that. And with a team like this, you've got every right to be an optimist.
Joe, we see so many teams that seem to struggle to find a decent quarterback. And certainly the hapless Steelers come to mind with their, what is it, Greg?
I think they've gone through like 17 starting quarterbacks. Well,
Wow.
that is since Big Ben was incarcerated.
Yeah, well, no means no, Greg. What a
Oops.
dumpster fire down in Pennsylvania.
Oh boy. On
Anyway,
fire.
anyway, Joe, what is it you think makes Tom Brady so special?
To be an NFL quarterback, you have to be so obsessed and committed to the game that you almost have no time in your life for anything but a little bit of family, and the rest of it is being a quarterback. And that's a commitment that few people are willing to make. It's almost a commitment above a level of a coach. But if you can't have that level of commitment, you almost can't succeed in the NFL as a quarterback.
That's great insight, Joe. Another question for you. What did you think of Roger Goodell's treatment of Tom Brady?
Well, I think the things that he's made the biggest mistakes on, not that anybody cares what I think about it because I'm not the commissioner and he doesn't work for me, but I think...
Now, come on, Joe. You were named Time Magazine Man of the Year twice. in the last
Yeah.
5 years. I think people care a little bit about what you think.
Seriously.
And so specifically, I think Deflategate was a big issue. Obviously, I think the job that Roger did handling that, I thought was very poor in the face of overwhelming scientific evidence that the Patriots did not deflate their footballs. He still decided to suspend the guy 4 games, which is equivalent to using steroids, which, as we all know, would give you an enormous competitive advantage.
Seriously, just a little bit of competitive advantage with roids. Yeah, no doubt. Joe, as you know, there have been a lot of calls for you to become the player/commissioner, and you've repeatedly said no. We know how busy you are with football, your family, and your many humanitarian causes. But recently, former Presidents George Bush and Barack Obama and prominent congressional members on both sides of the aisle have called on you to run for president in the 2020 election for the good of the country. Is there any chance you might consider it?
Me? Get the out of here.
Oh, come on now, Joe. Remember, this is a family show, but your point is certainly well taken. Nobody in Browns Nation wants you taking that jersey off anyway. But whenever you do hang up those cleats, what do you see in Joe Thomas's future?
After you've made a lot of Pro Bowls in the NFL, or you've had a lot of success in the NFL, whatever you do next, you're going to want to be successful. You're going to want to strive to be the best, because that's what has given you satisfaction throughout your NFL career, the process of becoming or trying to become the best. And so whatever I want to do next, I want to become the best.
We know you will be. Thank you, Joe. It's been an absolute privilege to watch you every Sunday, every snap. And it's been an inspiration to see the impact you've had, not just on the league or the city of Cleveland, but really on this entire world. Joe Thomas, everybody.
All right. Keith, I don't know about you, but somehow, I don't know what it is, I just feel more at peace just basking in the warm glow of his beautiful presence.
Well, I mean, Joe, it's really obvious why both Pope Francis and the Dalai Lama turned to Joe for guidance. I mean, it's really, he's just really got a lot to say.
A lot to say, and you just feel it from him. He just a beautiful soul, really. Just a lovely, lovely man.
So, Greg, inspired by Joe Thomas, all our key players are signed to team-friendly, long-term deals.
Oh, amen for that.
We managed to fleece the Steelers yet again in a trade and are looking at picking number 4 in next year's draft despite having just won the Super Bowl. Now, Cleveland's Pulitzer Prize-winning sports journalist Mary Kay Cabot thinks the Browns should think about a long-term replacement for Tom Terrific. What do you see as our biggest needs going into next season?
Well, now, no one has ever gotten rich going against the considered opinion of the very esteemed Ms. Cabot. But I, for one, am just not ready to think about life after Tom. I'm just not there yet. Call me crazy, but I'd like to see us use that pick to get another pass rusher to balance out Julius Peppers, something for the right side.
Sure.
And then with our own picks, which we've got all of them as always.
Of course we do.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we can improve our linebacker and offensive line depth. You can never have.
I don't know, Greg. I'm hoping for a corner slot.
Oh, you are so hard on Logan Ryan.
He gave up 5 catches again.
For 38 yards and only 1 first down.
Well, tackling is all well and good, but how about finding someone who can maybe do something before the slot receiver catches the ball, Greg? Before!
Oh, boy. Looks like we should have included this in our perfect, slightly imperfect segment. I think I know how this one would have landed.
Well, with Ozzie Newsome calling the shots, with input from the best, most experienced scouts in the game, in perfect alignment and harmony with Coach Bill Belichick, that should be remarkably easy.
It usually is.
Well, we want to say thanks to the millions and millions of you who tune in each week to make Cleveland Browns Dynasty Force the most popular podcast in this country. This week's podcast is brought to you by Taco Bell. Taco Bell proudly introduces its new jalapeno hummus burrito. Taco Bell, live outside the bun.
You know, that ought to run through your system like Le'Veon Bell to the end zone. You know, the next-gen Chevy Equinox fix the way you live with built-in 4G Wi-Fi and a 50-inch plasma screen that covers the entire windshield. Chevy, what? Are you scared?
You think your business needs artificial intelligence, Greg? Well, think Intel. We know the future because we've just come back from the future.
Huh? What?
All right.
Okay, and finally, Viagra. Guys, it's tiny pills for your wiener. You're welcome.
Of course, Browns fans haven't needed Viagra since the mid-90s. This team will put a tiger in anyone's tank, Greg.
Gronk!
Gronk. Before we bring in our next special guest, though we won't have time to attend the event, we wish to thank the People's Choice Podcast Awards for 3 more nominations this year, Greg. 3.
Oh, when it rains, it pours. I don't know about you, Keith, but it is such a privilege to bring these insights every week to the mighty, mighty Browns Nation.
I never thought I'd see our country as unified behind anything as much as they have gotten behind our honorable Browns football squad. We used to be red states and blue states, but it seems today as though every state is brown and orange. To be a small part of that, well, I just can't put it into words.
I hate to tell you, partner, but I think you just did.
Well, we don't hear from him often, so it's an honor and a privilege. Making his way into the studio, we have Browns owner, Dr. Emmett Brown. Dr. Brown, congratulations on yet another Super Bowl win. Is it still thrilling after all these years?
Sure, Keith. If the fans are delighted, I'm only too pleased to have played even a small role in their collective, high-spirited diversion.
Now, Dr. Brown, you recognized that the team was in trouble and rescued the team in 1995 when Art Modell was forced to leave the game under duress. What made you, an amateur research scientist from Hill Valley, California, who'd recently come into some money, want to buy a football team, and in Cleveland of all places?
Well, as you must have ascertained by now, I'm no connoisseur of this collaborative pigskin competition, merely helping a good friend.
Well, you've been quite a friend to the city of Cleveland.
Oh, I can assure you, you've been much too kind, sir. Wait, excuse me a moment.
Doc!
Marty, what are you doing here?
Doc, we gotta go back in time!
Again? Great Scott! Why?
Doc, it's Marty Jr. again. He's become a ruthless drug kingpin in Mexico. And I tracked it all back to 1995 when you bought the Browns.
But Marty, I bought the Browns with the ill-gotten gains I earned from that infernal sports almanac, so you can keep Marty Jr. out of trouble with Art Modell's mob-connected friends.
I know, Doc, but he's a mess, and they're gonna extradite him.
Marty, any disruption of the space-time continuum could have serious repercussions for all the millions of unsuspecting Browns fans across the country. Do you realize they could end up in a dystopian alternate reality in which they cycle through owners, front offices, coaches, and quarterbacks like Einstein through dog food?
I know, Doc, I know, but he's my son.
Okay, Marty, but this is the last time. Time travel is not to be trifled with. The consequences could be disastrous.
Of course, Doc. Thanks. Now, Doc, let's get out of here. Come on, I'll slip you the hoverboard. Let's go. I feel kind of different.
So, let's see here.
Yeah.
We did the little Davy Brickhands construction company ad.
Yeah.
Because he,
Can't catch. Yeah.
Compared the Browns GMs to characters from what was it, Taffy? Oh yeah, right. Princess Diaries. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, look. I still maintain that Ray Farmer is totally the Anne Hathaway. Similarities are stunning.
As are the insights.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess what we got Sunday's game, right? What
Right.
who we playing?
Detroit Lions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are they?
4-4.
Yeah.
But Stafford's hot right now.
Really good looking, huh?
Yeah. Can also throw the ball a little bit.
You know, I got to say, I wish we were playing the 2008 Lions.
Yeah, because, right, I get it, because they were winless too, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's funny.
I'm going to ignore that. All right, so look, obviously they're better than us, right?
Yeah.
I guess people are they want a prediction. All right, so
Yeah.
So what you got? Lose big or let's say lose small?
Well, lose big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds right.
Yep.
We good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well,
I guess let's call it.
yeah. Call it.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have today. So, on behalf of Greg and me, thanks for wasting another hour on the dumpster fire. Tweet at us or don't. CLE dumpster fire. Blah, blah, blah. Rob did the graphic. Dave did the music. Taffy got the coffee. But come on, we gotta watch the shitty games, right?
Amen.
Next time on the dumpster fire, we debut new character Farty Arty, and we'll try to get our physicians to up our dosages. Until then, good night, Marty Jr., wherever you are.
You know, I wish we were in prison for once, and we were still on our alternate timeline. Right?